What's up, dudes and dudes? The internet. My name's Scythe, and we are back. Give us a little Trove. I'm PC, baby. Oh my goodness gracious, the day has come. I want to give a big shout out to my good man, Merc_, because what he ended up discovering, and I have a video that's going to be talking about this already in a little bit more detail, is that I didn't have max PR, right? Last time we ended up, having a PC episode, I was like the second strongest PR or gunslinger in the entire game. Now, I am actually sitting happily at not only #1 mastery, woo! But also as Gunslinger. I know that the weekly contest isn't Gunslinger anymore, okay? I recorded this last week. But I'm actually #1 for the power rank on Gunslinger, topped with all these other fine, beautiful folks right here, which this, incidentally, is also the absolute maximum power rank that you can have in the entire game right now. Crazy, isn't it? Because I pretty much just keep swapping my Gunslinger gems over to whatever character is in the weekly contest so that I can stock up on the Dark Chaos vaults and actually have a proper video of that for all you folks, because otherwise I've never been able to get them. It's insane. The max PR in the entire game, however, because you only end up actually getting PR from dragons, right? You don't get it from mounts or anything like that. So it would only be 30 more power rank than what we've got right now. And that would actually be the absolute maximum power rank that you can get in the entire game right now. You cannot get 25,000 PR. And the reason that this is relevant and why I want to actually mention it is just because power rank on subclasses, I mean, I have another video talking about this. I know I haven't had a video that talked about subclasses yet, but the passive ability of the class right here, not the skill, but the ability, is going to end up being determined by the power rank of the class in 5,000 intervals. So anything under 5,000 PR for my Lunar Lancer, I'm going to have less stats for when I go into lunacy mode, whereas 5,000, I'm going to have more stats, 10,000 more, 15, so on and so forth. 25,000 PR is said, anyways, that the devs have said that they have actually got it coded to go up to 25,000 PR for the subclass ability, which means we're most likely going to end up seeing that in the next big club update, because I'm assuming that they're going to be adding like a whole bunch of dragons. Because they love adding dragons, man. Like, seriously, it's one of the things that's actually crippling this game. It's the fact that they're adding so many dragons and making them so garbles to actually grind. Because new starting players, it's just like, geez Louise, like, no way. Now, since we last ended up, hi Dragon Sword, since we last ended up actually talking and showing off my gems, and also, I guess, just showing off my stats right here, sitting at 111,620 magic damage. Of course, that's going to be upped based on the ally that I have and stuff like that. 99.8% crit hit. We did it! And then also 1532.3 for crit damage. Now, something very important that I do want to point out right here is that the Gunslinger and Pirate Captain, I think it's the Pirate Captain is the other ranged character, actually will end up getting more crit hit when they end up leveling up, because each of the different classes in the game is going to end up gaining a bunch of different stats when they end up leveling up. So with the Gunslinger right here, I'm pretty sure we end up having 10% more crit hit than any of the other ranged characters. Maybe, except for the pirate. I think he also has the crit hit generation. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Honestly, I don't main pirate, so I don't really know, but I just know that, yeah, as Gunslinger, we're sitting on 99.8. If we were any other character, we would actually be at 89.8, which is still perfectly fine. Just to give you a quick update as to my gems, this one right here, I finally was able to re-roll over to being crit hit as the bronze stat, but I want to try and roll this max health over into magic damage, because this actually generated as, I forget if this is gold or platinum as the stat value. I'm not exactly sure. I'd have to take a look at my little spreadsheet that, of course, again, I refer to my other video that's talking about like how you can actually up the percentage over 100% and stuff. Speaking of which, that's why I was shouting out Mark, was I ended up going through each of these stats and realizing, because he actually watched my video and was like, how come his PR was actually a little bit higher on some of his gems? Because you can actually get 100% stat value of the augment, but then sometimes you can actually improve it over 100% because the augmenting percentage value right here, unfortunately, is on a 0.0 graph rather than just a full 1%. So while the game recognizes it as 100%, sometimes you might actually have a stat at 99.9. I think even 99.1% of an augmented stat will actually show up as 100% because the game itself can only show full 1% intervals, right? So anyways, who cares about any of that? What else have I been up to? You ask? Grinding shadow towers. Like crazy, like seriously, it's actually been ridiculous. I've grinded and still am grinding a whole lot more of them. Ignore all the stellars that I have in my inventory. I have those because they're so much easier to get when you're going through shadow tests. I've just been going through Dreadnought over and over and over again. I ended up using all of my shadow keys, which was 270 of them, by the way. No Dreadnought mount. Of course, this mount is like the rarest item in the game. Most of all, like, you know, I want to say that it's rarer than Ganda, but I think lots of people are going to say that, even though they don't realize with Ganda, you can just buy Troves of Wonder and technically you can end up increasing your odds over and over and over again because you end up getting that item over and over and over. Well, the drop rate of the Dreadnought mount might not necessarily be at as high a percentage value. Yeah, math. The drop rate of the Dreadnought mount might not be as rare as Ganda just because of the fact that it takes a lot longer to grind through to the Dreadnought because we gotta go through the Shadow Tower over and over and over again, as opposed to Ganda where you're opening 500, if not 1,000 Troves of Wonder, which would be the equal, like, would you end up getting the Dreadnought mount by grinding him 1,000 times? You know what I mean? Like, if we could end up just buying a Shadow Tower Vault box or something like that, or putting it in a club world, or spending our resources to actually just grind Dreadnought over and over and over again, maybe then we would end up actually being able to get the mount a little bit easier. But as of right now, it's gross. Now, another thing too that I want to stress out here, folks, because, oh man, it sucks, is that, unfortunately, it seems like the devs have also made the Hydra mounts just as rare as the Dreadnought mounts. There's 2 Hydra mounts. Both of them are worms. Nobody likes them. Nobody. I don't even know why they're in the game, let alone why they are just as rare as the Dreadnought mount. Near as I can tell, because the Dreadnought mount itself, I mean, you may have seen in some previous videos, I'll insert some footage of it just so you can see, it's epic because the mount itself is pretty much you riding the Dreadnought. I want to see what it looks like when I trigger Lunacy mode. I want to see what it looks like when I'm using a Draco's ultimate. Is it going to end up just blasting through everything and being gigantic? It'll probably look hilarious, but in any case, that is one epic mount that everybody wants. However, the Dreadnought also has 2 mounts that it can drop. One is that really, really cool one, and then another one is just a rolling log mount that's reskinned into the Dreadnought's nuke. The mount itself sucks. There's nothing special about it. It's not like it randomly explodes and hurts enemies or something cool like that. It just straight up is a rolling log mount reskinned as the nuke that is just absolutely disgusting. Like, seriously, I don't like it. Nobody likes it. It wouldn't be that big of a deal except for the fact that that mount is the same drop rate as the other Dreadnought mount, thus meaning that you have even less odds of actually getting the Dreadnought mount that you want. Because I could grind Dreadnought 1,000 times over, and maybe I would get one mount. Maybe I would get the nuke. Yeah? That would suck, wouldn't it? I mean, except I'm at the end of the game anyways, and of course I would want it. Like, it would be just as good a resource for me just because it would keep me at top mastery. Of course, I'm gonna need the Dreadnought mounts, both of them, same with the dumb Hydra snakes, eventually, but as of right now, Speaking of which, did somebody secretly have the Dreadnought mount up for sale? I didn't think so. Alright, let's defeat this idiot. He's just on normal mode, so don't panic at the fact that we killed him in 2 seconds. The least amount of time that I've had to actually grind the mount, or kill this guy, I mean, was, I think, 1.6 seconds, or maybe it was 1.4. Some other freaks beating him in, like, less than a second. I don't even know how you do that, because this game's, like, so laggy that it barely ends up working. You can't just loot collect all the items that you end up getting out of the Dreadnought. Of course, the mount itself is not going to be loot collectible, so don't worry about that. And then furthermore than that, when you end up actually opening this box right here, it's just going to fly into your character's inventory. You don't have to pick it up. Of course, if your inventory's full, you're going to have to go loot, collect, come back, and then pick it up manually yourself, so make sure that you don't end up leaving it. The boss itself also has a chance of dropping the mount, on top of the Shadow Tower Vault dropping it as well. So you got to keep that in mind, which, again, doesn't really make that much of a difference, except for the fact that it does mean that players that don't want to grind their Shadow keys do have a chance of actually getting the mount out of the boss itself. However, I'm pretty confident that the percentage of the drop rates are probably a lot less for coming out of the boss itself, just because of the fact that you can actually end up, you know, grinding him without any keys. By the way, apparently this was my idea. I didn't even know, but the devs ended up talking about it in a stream. It was hilarious. They didn't even know how to pronounce my name. They called me Scythe. Or Scythe or something. It was a hilarious insult. No, I act salty about it, but I thought it was absolutely hilarious. I think it was the new dev, so I don't think that he knows my content as much as the other devs. Not to say that they watch anything that I do, but I think most of all it was when the Eclipse update came out. I actually did a live stream that had like 2,000 people in it, which was insane for me. That's the most people I've ever had in a stream. And I think that the dev ended up coming into it while I was casually just in Shadow Towers talking about how we needed a key mold in the Shadow Tower. Unfortunately, they put it right here. I don't know why they didn't just put it in this room, like right over here, because that would have made a lot more sense, especially because as of right now, anyways, that key mold is in the last room of Daughter of the Moon, which is good because for some weird reason, Daughter of the Moon is broken where you go through this portal and then this yellow portal isn't there. Maybe it's been patched by the time this video comes out. Not likely, though, because they take 5 zillion years to end up actually doing that. So anyways, as you can see, I've actually just been using my Eclipse keys now that I used all my Shadow Tower keys. I had maybe like 230, if not 250 of these Eclipse keys, so they're slowly draining as well. And just as one last quick pro tip, if you're grinding the Dreadnought, try and do it with some friends. Depending on which friend has the most Shadow Tower keys that they can spend, let's say that there's 3 of you. Each of you go into your own respective Shadow Tower portal so that you can all grind up to the Dreadnought, right? 2 of you are going to hold off on beating the boss, while 1 of you, whoever has the most keys in their inventory, is going to defeat the boss, use a key, then get invited to another person's Shadow Tower arena, defeat the boss with that person, and then they both use a key, and then whoever has the least amount of keys is going to invite both of them so that they can both end up using their keys, so that one person at least gets to kill and open 2 or 3 Dreadnought boxes, while the other one gets 2. And the whole reason why the last person that's going to end up doing the invites has the least amount of keys is because if you're all grinding the Dreadnought with a bunch of friends, you're going to be grinding it nonstop anyways. So why not have the person who has the least amount of keys just be a pal and actually help the other people that have more keys, because that way they're going to slowly start to drain their keys and you're going to see less and less of a difference between the amount of keys that one friend has as opposed to the other person who has a lot less, and ultimately it's going to end up being more worth your while, right? Now that said, I usually just end up grinding Dreadnought with a bunch of people, just lazily having fun and stuff like that, rather than trying to be as efficient as possible. But I just thought that that was a good tip to let you all know that if you can end up going through normal mode, you're going to want to end up doing that for the Dreadnought. You can do it for the Hydra as well if you can't handle Dreadnought, because the Hydra does have 2 mounts respectively as well. All of the mounts are going to end up being tradable. It's just that nobody has them, and anybody that does actually has the mounts is probably ended up just using them right off the hop because of how really cool they are, right? Now, as far as that's concerned, you know, I've got a couple people helping me out where I'm just going to buy the mount off of them if they end up getting it. In any case, that's pretty much it for today, everybody. I just wanted to give you a quick heads up about everything, let you know that I am, in fact, the maximum power rank in the game right now, which I personally think is absolutely insane. I don't even think any other content creators actually are at the end game like I am here, which I'm not saying it's something worth bragging about, because honestly speaking, this game is like really, really random number generation. And because of that, and as well as the game being extremely pay to win, it does not take skill to actually like get to the end game or anything. It's not something worth bragging about. It's just that I've been playing this game for such a long time and so consistently that I was fortunate enough to end up somehow getting max mastery. Most of all, that's because of all you fine beautiful people's helping me out, because a lot of the mounts that I didn't have, people ended up giving me maybe a code or two. Like I remember the last one that was actually keeping me from top mastery was the Trove carpet, which you have to exclusively get from dev streams, which they rarely ever give that carpet away in the first place, let alone I wasn't going to end up winning it, and somebody ended up throwing me it after I ended up talking about not having it. So that was absolutely awesome. I wish I could shut that person out, but I don't have their name on a piece of paper right now. I do have their name in the respective video though. And then of course it was just grinding the stupid 15,000 fish badge, which was not fun. In any case, thank you so much for watching, everybody. Very much appreciate it. Don't forget to like, share, favorite, and subscribe for more daily content. Doing all that is also going to end up building up loyalty points for my merch store. Links are in the description for that. Sayonara, and stay epic, everybody. Oh, and I guess it kind of goes without saying, but honestly doesn't really matter. But a long time ago, I ended up paying 250,000 total PR, so I'm actually getting all 5 of the Diamond Dragonite. I just thought it was worth mentioning, but honestly speaking, I got this a while ago and didn't bother making a video on it.